Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our online learning discussion. This is your subject, Social Studies, Grade 9A and 9B. Your teacher here, Miss Michelle Joy. This video will serve as a recap makeup class, especially for the students who weren't able to attend our class today. Let's proceed to our online learning discussion now. Before we proceed to our online learning discussion, I would like us to have a short review or recap of the last topics that we have discussed, which is about World Trade Organization. So what is the World Trade Organization? So the World Trade Organization, or WTO, is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. Its location is in Geneva, Switzerland. It was established in January 1st, 1995, created by Uruguay round negotiations between 1986 to 1994. There are 150 countries on 11 January 2007, but now there are 163. The budget of this organization is about 175 million Swiss francs last 2006. And the number of people working in WTO is 635. The head or chief executive officer of WTO is Pascal Lamy. The goal is to help producers of goods and services, exporters, and importers conduct their business. As for the objectives of the lesson for today, the first one is students must be able to know about European Union, and students must be able to know about Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So at the end of this online discussion, I expect that you already know about European Union and ASEAN, the aims of these organizations, and the problems they encounter and how they look for a solution for those problems. Class, the topics for today are the following: European Union and ASEAN. So these are the words to learn. Please repeat after me so you can still practice your reading skills and your speaking skills even if you're just at home. Are you ready now? Number 1, ASEAN. Number 2, European Union. Number 3, agreement. Number 4, committed. And number 5, established. Now let's read the meaning of these words one by one. ASEAN. It is a regional grouping that promotes economic, political, and security cooperation among its 10 members. And these 10 members are the following: Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. Next word is European Union. So what is the EU? The European Union is a group of countries whose governments work together. It's a little like a club. To join, you have to agree to follow the rules, and in return, you get certain benefits. So each country has to pay money to be a member. They mostly pay through taxes. Countries join the EU because they think the EU will help them. Next word is agreement. So class, when you say agreement, it means accord, harmony, concord, understanding, covenant, pact, arrangement, contract, compact, and consent. So when you say agreement, two parties agreed or they have mutual understanding about something. Next is committed. So when you say committed, it means devoted, dedicated, pledged, faithful, attached, ardent, bound, engaged, zealous, resolute. So when you say committed, you are dedicated or devoted to do something, no matter what it takes. And the last word that we have is established. Established means founded, set, based, fixed, given, certain, appointed, ingrained. So when you say established, it means founded. So these are the 5 words that can help us better understand our topic for today. Let's repeat them again from numbers 1 to 5. ASEAN, European Union, agreement, committed, and established.
The European Union is a union of 27 European countries. These countries came together to make things better, easier, and safer for people. The European Union has three main bodies that make the Union work smoothly. The European Commission. The members of the European Commission suggest laws for the European Union. The European Parliament. The members of the European Parliament are elected by all people in Europe to stand for their rights. The Council of the European Union. People who make decisions in every country of the European Union come together and make the Council of the European Union. The flag of the European Union is blue and has a circle of gold stars on it. It is a symbol that shows that the countries of the European Union are united. All countries that are part of the European Union work together to make sure that there is peace in Europe. People have good lives. Things are fair for all people and nobody is left out. The languages and cultures of all people are respected. In every country of the European Union, people speak their own language. That's why the European Union has 27 official languages. Most countries that are part of the European Union use the same coin. This coin is called euro. Using the same coin helps countries in the European Union to do business together. For example, people from Spain can buy things they want from Belgium easily and without extra costs. The European Union made it easier for people to move freely from one country to another. They can live, study, or work in any country of the European Union they want because of the free movement. For example, a person from France can choose to move to Italy and work there, or a student from Belgium can go study at a university in Greece.
European Union. So in many parts of the world, regional trade agreements have been reached in order to increase free trade. Certain nations have such regional trade agreements, then increase their trade to the general benefit of all. The most important regional trade agreement in the world today is the European Union, whose goal is to create a unified and strong market. So currently, class, the EU consists of 25 independent countries, and on January 1st, 1993, the EU began eliminating most of its restrictions. So when you say eliminating means they are trying to remove some of the rules between trade or on trade between its member countries so that it will be easier for them to do the trading. So many European nations use common currency, which is the euro. Plus, the euro is the legal tender for more than 300 million people in Austria, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, and Italy. Ireland as well, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. But Denmark, Sweden, and the United Kingdom, they are not currently using the euro. But the other 10 member nations are committed to adopting the euro eventually. So Denmark, Sweden, and the United Kingdom are using pound as their currency. So for this, most of the European countries or member of euro or European Union, they use euro, and aside from that, they can travel from one country to other because of the European Union.
What is ASEAN? The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN for short, is an association that today consists of 10 Southeast Asian states. In 1967, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines and Singapore founded ASEAN. The aim was to improve economic, political, and social cooperation, and also to balance political conflicts between these countries that existed as a consequence of decolonization. During Cold War, ASEAN members wanted to contain the influence of communism in the region. Times changed. Old enemies became new partners, and in the second half of the 1990s, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia joined ASEAN. The collapse of the USSR, the founding of the World Trade Organization, and a financial crisis in Asia prompted members to deepen their relations and adapt to the new situation. In the 2000s, free trade agreements were concluded with India, China, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. In the future, the entire region will be merged into one large free trade zone. Since 2001, the ASEAN Summit takes place annually. It is a meeting of the heads of state and government where current problems are discussed and solutions are worked out. In 2008, the ASEAN Charter came into force, giving the association the status of a legal person. Principles of non-intervention and consensual decision-taking remained unchanged by the Charter. Decisions are generally made by consensus. No member can be forced to something. As a result, the group rarely appears to be closed. Nowadays. Today, ASEAN is based on 3 pillars. As a political and security community to ensure peace, as an economic community with a strong domestic market, and as a social and cultural community, including a common identity. Challenges and solutions. ASEAN faces a number of social and environmental challenges. Countries such as Vietnam or the Philippines are particularly vulnerable to climate change and already feel its impact today. Problem: coal production. Nevertheless, member states plan to meet the energy demand by making primarily use of climate-damaging coal. Indonesia plans to build 117 new coal-fired power plants by 2025. Myanmar invests in gigantic hydroelectric power plants and coal. Laos builds dams on the Mekong. The result is that Vietnam loses water in the Mekong Delta. However, fossil fuels, for example, are not necessary to cover the lack of energy. Renewable energy sources ranging from biomass to solar energy and wind power have enormous potentials in the region. They too would promote the local economy and provide sustainable jobs. Problem: the haze. Large areas of precious rainforest are burnt down for palm oil plantations and cattle feed cultivation all over Indonesia. The smog of these fires covers large parts of Indonesia, Singapore, and Malaysia. Pollution continues, even though in 2003 a smog agreement in the ASEAN came into force, which should reduce forest fires, environmental degradation, and air pollution. As such problems cross borders, ASEAN must tackle them in a joint effort and think beyond borders. This can be done, for example, by taking up the suggestions made by CSOs, civil society organizations, aiming at installing a 4th pillar, the environmental pillar. It must ensure that the ecological limits are taken into account in the growth debate. Only in case civil society is informed transparently and gets much more involved, acting free from state repression, social and environmental justice can arise. Serve people rather than profit.
Next class, let's read about ASEAN. So ASEAN was established on 8 August 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand. The founding fathers of ASEAN are the following: Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. That's why they are called the founding fathers. Then Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia later joined, making up the 10 member states of ASEAN. So there are aims or goals or objectives of ASEAN. Number one is to accelerate economic growth to increase the economic stabilization, social progress, cultural development among its members, and of course to make the relationship more stronger, protection of regional peace and stability to avoid war between nations, opportunities for member countries to discuss differences peacefully, so respect each other differences and the differences in culture as well. So at the ninth ASEAN Summit in 2003, the ASEAN leaders resolved that an ASEAN community shall be established for its members to be bonded together in a community of caring societies and dynamic development. And at the 12th ASEAN Summit in January 2007, the leaders affirmed to accelerate the establishment of an ASEAN community by 2015. Just to summarize the topics that we have, so European Union. What is the EU? The European Union is a group of countries whose governments work together. It's a bit like a club, like what we have on the first part of our discussion. And to join, you have to agree to follow certain restrictions and rules, but in return, you can get benefits from it. So if you want to be a member of EU, you have to pay. And you can do this mostly through taxes. So the EU uses the money to change the way people live and do business in Europe. So currently, class, many members of European Union use the same currency, which is euro. So countries join because they think that they will benefit, especially economic growth from the changes the European Union makes. And the second topic that we have discussed is about ASEAN. So Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. It was established on 8 August 1967 in Bangkok with the signing of the ASEAN Declaration. So Bangkok Declaration by the founding fathers of ASEAN, namely Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. And the aims and purposes of ASEAN are the following: to accelerate the economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in the region, to promote regional peace and stability, to promote active collaboration and mutual assistance, to provide training and research facilities, to collaborate more effectively, to promote Southeast Asian studies, and cooperation with existing international and regional organizations with similar aims and purposes. As for your activity, please click the link in the Google Classroom, and it looks like this. So you have to read the paragraph and fill in the missing word. You have to type your answers. Good luck, everyone! So class, we now come to the end of our online learning discussion. If you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or anything that you want to ask Miss MJ, please feel free to call me or send me a message in my personal line account, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you very much. I'll see you again next time. Stay safe. Goodbye.